You think your horse is being difficult. Maybe he won't move forward, maybe he pulls away, or just flat out refuses to listen. It feels like he's being stubborn on purpose. But what if the real problem is you? Most people don't like to hear that. But the truth is, many horses are labeled as difficult or naughty, when in reality, they're just reacting to the mistakes we make, often without even realizing it. In this video, we're going to look at 5 things you might be doing right now that are damaging your connection and making your horse shut down, resist, or avoid you. This isn't about blame, it's about awareness. Because once you see what's really going on, everything can change. So, if you care about your horse and want to build a better partnership, stay with me. Let's look at mistake number 1. Mistake 1, you're ignoring their learning style. Not every horse learns the same way. And yet, most people train every horse exactly the same. Some horses are quick, curious, and eager to try things out. Others are slow thinkers. They need more repetition, more time to process, and more predictability to feel safe. When we ignore that and expect them all to fit our rhythm, things start to fall apart. For example, if your horse shuts down when you repeat the same exercise again and again, you might think he's lazy or not paying attention. But maybe he's actually bored, confused, or frustrated because he already got the answer right. And now he doesn't understand why he's still being asked. On the other hand, if your horse gets tense or resistant when you try something new, it doesn't mean he's being dramatic. It could just mean you're going too fast for how his brain works. When we don't take the time to understand how our horses learn and what they need in order to feel confident, we end up sending mixed signals. And mixed signals lead to tension, hesitation, and conflict. The horse isn't being stubborn. He's just overwhelmed, or understimulated, or confused. One of the most powerful things you can do is observe your horse without judgment. Ask yourself, does he thrive on new challenges, or does he get nervous when things change? Does he relax with repetition, or does it make him frustrated? How does he react when he gets something right? How does he show you he's trying? When you begin to recognize his learning style and adjust your approach to fit him, the entire conversation shifts. What used to feel like resistance starts to feel like cooperation. Your horse isn't trying to be difficult. He just wants to be understood. And when you start teaching in a way that makes sense to him, you'll be surprised how much easier everything becomes. Let's move on to mistake number 2. Mistake 2. You're asking for too much too soon. Horses don't resist because they're lazy. They resist because they feel stuck. And one of the biggest reasons they feel stuck is because we're asking for too much too soon. Think about it. If you were learning a new skill, like dancing or speaking a new language, and your teacher skipped the basics and pushed you straight into the deep end, you'd probably freeze, or panic, or give up. Horses are the same. Just because something looks simple to us, like walking through a puddle, standing still, or doing a circle, doesn't mean it feels simple to the horse. Maybe that puddle is terrifying. Maybe standing still feels unsafe. Maybe the circle makes no sense yet. And when we push through anyway, even with good intentions, we can accidentally teach the horse that pressure never goes away, even when he tries. That's when he starts saying no, not because he's stubborn, but because he's overwhelmed. Progress isn't about how fast you move forward, it's about how clearly you communicate. So next time your horse hesitates, instead of pushing harder, ask yourself, does he truly understand what I'm asking? Did I break this down into small enough steps? Have I rewarded the try, not just the final result? The best trainers don't just ask more, they ask better. And often, the smartest step forward is a smaller one. If you didn't know this already, or if you're suddenly realizing, oops, I've definitely done this, don't worry, you're not alone. And the good news, you're learning. So if you're into this kind of clear, thoughtful horse training, and you want to keep improving the way you work with your horse, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because if these points surprised you, there's a lot more you'll want to know. Now, let's look at mistake number 3. Mistake 3, you're only focused on physical obedience. He did what I asked, so what's the problem? That's what many people think when their horse technically responds. He moves forward, turns, stops. But here's the thing, just because your horse does something doesn't mean he's okay with it. There's a big difference between physical obedience and mental willingness. A horse can walk forward while still feeling unsure, tense, or disconnected. And when we focus only on he did it and not how did he feel about it, we start to miss the bigger picture. That's when small signs get ignored. The tight neck, the pinned ears, the hesitant steps. We label it as attitude, or say he's being fussy, when really he's communicating discomfort, and we're just not listening. Over time, this disconnect builds. The horse stops offering softness, stops trying, starts resisting. And again, it's easy to blame the horse. But maybe he's not being difficult. Maybe he just stopped feeling safe to express himself. When you shift your attention from is he doing it to how is he doing it, everything changes. You start noticing tension earlier. You learn when to pause, when to reward, when to simplify. You start working with your horse, not just on top of him. Real connection doesn't come from getting your horse to do things. It comes from helping him feel understood while he does them. So next time something feels off, don't just ask for more leg, more pressure, more repetition. Ask yourself, is he with me mentally or just physically? Am I building trust or just compliance? Would I respond the same way if I were in his shoes? Horses don't need us to be perfect, but they do need us to notice. Ready for the next one? Mistake number 4 is one that gets overlooked all the time, especially with horses that seem quiet. Let's dive into it. Mistake 4, you're misreading freezing as disobedience. Some horses explode when they're scared or frustrated. Others just freeze. They stop moving. They tune out. They go still. And because it looks calm from the outside, many people think the horse is being stubborn, like he's refusing to move or zoning out on purpose. But what's actually happening is a survival response. Freezing is just as real and just as serious as flight or fight. It means the horse doesn't see a safe option. Moving feels too risky. Saying no feels too dangerous, so he shuts down. And the worst part, when people mistake that freeze for defiance, they often add more pressure. More leg, more whip, more force. That's like yelling at someone who's already paralyzed with fear. It doesn't wake them up, it just makes them shut down harder. So how do you recognize the freeze? Look for the subtle signs. Is your horse's body stiff but still? Is he blinking less, breathing shallow, holding tension in the neck or jaw? Does he suddenly check out after pressure is applied? These are all signals that something's not right internally, even if he's standing still. When you spot it, don't push through. Instead, back off. Create space. Let him breathe. Help him feel seen, not forced. The goal isn't to get him to move. It's to help him want to move. And that only happens when the horse feels safe again. Remember, calm on the outside doesn't always mean calm on the inside. And silence can be the loudest cry for help. All right, we've got one more to go. And this last one is sneaky because it often comes from people who really care about their horses. But good intentions aren't always enough. Let's take a look at mistake number 5. Mistake 5, you're not allowing enough choice or release. You love your horse, you're trying your best, you work hard, you're consistent, and you mean well. But still, something feels off. The connection isn't quite there. The energy feels flat, or the effort feels forced. Here's a mistake that's incredibly common, especially among people who care deeply. You're not giving your horse enough choice. Too often, our training becomes a one-way street. We ask, we push, we shape, but we forget to listen. We reward when the horse gets the right answer, but we ignore the tries, the questions, the moments of hesitation that actually matter most. Over time, the horse learns, it doesn't matter what I feel, I just have to do it. And slowly, the motivation fades, not out of defiance, but out of learned helplessness. The solution? Start making room for your horse's voice. Give him space to figure things out. Celebrate the effort, not just the outcome. Offer a true release when he gets it right, and sometimes, even when he just tries. Choice builds confidence. Release builds trust. And trust? That's the foundation of everything. So ask yourself, do I give my horse time to think? Do I notice the try or only the result? Does my horse ever feel like he's part of the conversation or just the object of it? When you start giving your horse more say, more time, more softness, more clarity, you'll be amazed by how much more he gives you in return. Because a horse that feels heard stops shouting, and a horse that feels safe stops resisting. If this video opened your eyes to some things, that's a good sign. Growth starts with awareness, and if you're here, you clearly care about your horse. So if you want more videos like this, thoughtful, real, and focused on connection, hit subscribe. Let's keep learning together. Oh, and if you haven't seen it yet, I made another video about 5 things you might be doing that make your horse distrust you. It goes hand in hand with this one, and it dives even deeper into how trust gets damaged without us realizing. I'll link it in the description. Definitely check it out next.